Hello, I'm Dr. Richard Larity, and I'd like to welcome you to Understanding Human Anatomy, a series of videos to assist you with your studies of anatomy. In this introductory video, I want to acquaint you with my goals for this whole series. And that is simply to have you understand the plan of the body, to understand how the body is put together. This will be accomplished not by presenting detail. I want to reduce the detail that you need to remember, but rather give you general rules and exceptions to those rules. So in learning anatomy, you should learn the rules, make them part of your being, and then memorize the exceptions. Now, an example of this process. If you look at the arm and forearm, the arm is shoulder to elbow, the forearm is elbow to wrist. If you look at the arm and forearm, we can divide the arm and forearm, each region, into an anterior compartment and a posterior compartment. We can make a general rule that all the muscles of the anterior compartment are flexors. All the muscles in the posterior compartment are extensors. With those rules, there's only two exceptions. There's one muscle in the anterior compartment, pronator quadratus, and one muscle in the posterior compartment, the brachioradialis, which are exceptions to those rules. So when you look at any of these muscles, you know at least part of what they do, part of their action, just by their general location. Now, the first rule you have to deal with is the one defining anatomical position. And the reason you must understand this rule is that all descriptions in anatomy relate to the body in anatomical position. The specimens you see in an anatomy lab are never in anatomical position. Now, anatomical position is defined precisely in textbooks, both hardcover and online versions. So I'm not going to describe the full anatomical position, but I want to point out two important facts. The first is that in anatomical position, the body is upright. It's standing. Now, again, in an anatomy lab, you're not going to see a specimen standing. It's going to be laying on a table. It's going to be horizontal, not upright. So you have to translate the body in your mind that you're looking at into anatomical position. You have to imagine that specimen laying down in front of you is actually standing upright. And then all the descriptions make sense. If you forget that, some of the descriptions will not make sense. It's difficult at first, but after you work with anatomy for a little while, this will become second nature to you. The second fact is that while the arms are hanging at the side, the palms are facing forward. In anatomical terms, that means the palms are supinated. Now, our hands rotate at the wrist 180 degrees. So the palms can face backward or forward in anatomical position. If they're facing backward, the relative positions of structures, the relations between structures, will be different than when the palms are facing forward. So to standardize all the descriptions, we've defined anatomical position as having the palms facing forward or supinated. One last fact about anatomical position is that all joints are extended in anatomical position. This gives you a starting point for looking at and studying the actions of the various joints and of the muscles on those joints. If you remember that in anatomical position, all joints are extended, then you can work from that position, that fact. Some joints have extreme range of motion, and they'll have to be dealt with at the time. And we have ways of doing that, and we'll talk about that as we get there. But the general rule is that all the joints are extended in anatomical position. So the goal of this series of videos is to have you understand how the body is put together by learning the general rules and memorizing the exceptions. And you must fully understand anatomical position in order to understand any description of any structure in human anatomy. Thank you for your attention.